Do you like the metaverse? Because I like the metaverse, and I'm really excited that Virtua's Cardano Island is sponsoring this episode. Cardano Island is one of those projects I'm excited to have in our ecosystem. There are small, medium, and large plots, also condos, plans for 4 main sections, different zones and districts, fan caves to display NFTs, 6 different land resources, land bots, non-player character slots, slots for our Cardano Summit 2021 NFTs, other games, and lots more features. I bought a large plot on Cardano Island, and I can't wait to be on my land to see what this becomes. Check out cardano.virtua.com or click the link below. There is a subtle but important skill set around focus in crypto. It's about where you allocate your attention in a landscape where it's very easy to get caught up in all the irrelevant details. It turns out that about 90% of the crypto discussions on Twitter don't actually matter at all. Sometimes it feels like there's a war being fought for control of the crypto information agenda. But in fact, the vast majority of all those conversations, debates, and discussions never have any impact at all on the underlying projects. It's all just background noise you have to tune out so that you can focus on the only questions that actually matter. What's being built? When will it be finished? And will it attract users? Compared to its biggest competitors, Cardano seems to be on a very good trajectory in terms of those things that actually matter. Ready? Let's go. Today, we're going to discuss finally hitting the magical 75% SPO upgrade threshold for Fossil, Jerome Powell's Jackson Hole comments, more very interesting information about the detained Tornado Cash developer, and Cardano being a part of a new credit card deal. If you're like me and you can't decide what's weirder, this creepy rock formation or the idea that someone took a crystal ball out to this rock formation, or if you're finding value in these videos each weekday, please consider delegating to the Army of Spies stake pool, ticker AOS. Well, it looks like we've made it. If you come over here to this far pie chart, we are now in Epic 360, and it looks like 78% of the blocks produced in this epic were produced by SPOs who have already adopted 1.35.3. Of course, the SPO threshold to trigger Fossil was 75%. So it looks like we are now beyond that threshold, which means Fossil will be able to go forward as soon as the other 2 thresholds are reached, which involve exchanges with 80% of the liquidity of ADA upgrading, and also the top 10 dApps in Cardano by TVL upgrading. These are the kinds of things that actually matter for a blockchain ecosystem. What is Cardano building? We know that Cardano has already built what, in my opinion, amounts to the very best proof of stake system in crypto. It's objectively better than what Ethereum is launching next month for all the reasons we've talked about ad nauseum on this channel: the slashing, the lack of custody, the miner extractable value middleware, all these things that have these implications for censorship. There are a lot of reasons why Cardano's proof of stake system is objectively better than what its biggest competitor is finally launching next month after years and years of development. Cardano is also building out Plutus 2.0. We got smart contracts last year, but it was what we can now call a 1.0 version of smart contracts. We need these tools that will come with the 3 SIPs in Fossil. This is going to create a new smart contract system for Cardano. So we know what Cardano is building. This helps answer when will it be finished, the second question, which I think has been the important one. When will it be finished? When will we finally get a full-fledged Plutus, a fully realized Plutus? Not that there won't be more work to be done. There'll be more. They'll be constantly evolving, like I think any tech ecosystem should be. They'll constantly be improving things. There'll be more upgrades, all kinds of things going on in the future. But we're finally getting to this point when our dApp developers can achieve a utilization of Plutus that looks more like a full-fledged smart contract ecosystem. The last question I think is already answered. Will it attract users? Cardano has a gigantic community, a gigantic ecosystem. We're one of the biggest subreddits of any crypto ecosystem. The users are already here. They're just waiting, and they're already using the great proof of stake system in Cardano. They're just waiting now for the dApps to finally be able to launch. All three of these important questions have now been answered in the case of Cardano, and all the Twitter drama we've seen along the way, all of those discussions, all of those debates about Cardano don't really matter at all. Of course, like, community discourse is an important thing and it should be going on and ongoing, and there is value in that, but none of those discussions or debates actually matter at all, because we've now reached the point when Plutus 2.0 is going to launch, and nothing any maximalist of any blockchain ever said about Cardano is going to have any impact whatsoever on that. Plutus 2.0 is going to launch. We'll have those three important SIPs in place. The developers, the dApp developers, will actually be able to do the thing they've been wanting to do for a long time now. And it doesn't matter what anybody on Twitter has said along the way. Unfortunately, the words spoken by some people do really matter, including this guy. This is Fed Chair Jerome Powell. And on Friday, he delivered his annual Jackson Hole address. I would sum up his comments like this. Hi, welcome to JP's House of S&M. My name's Jerome, and I'm going to deliver you some pain. It's like you went to the wrong business, and the second you walked in, that's what the owner greeted you with. It was like, hey guys, guess what? We're not going to pivot. We're not going to reduce rates. We're not even going to slow the speed at which we're hiking rates. We're going to continue hiking rates for a long time, and it's going to involve some pain for you all, for the entire US economy. So this of course explains the what I think a lot of people would call unpleasant equities market activity on Friday of last week. Seems like a good portion of people were a little bit surprised at this comment and sort of the tone of his entire statement. So unfortunately, it looks like the macro situation is going to continue not helping us over here in crypto. If you're wondering, wait a second, the reason why the Fed is hiking rates is to combat inflation, and crypto is supposed to be the answer to inflation. What's the problem here? Shouldn't this be great for crypto? Well, it turns out that Cointelegraph, despite the fact that Cointelegraph has never seemed to be very in love with Cardano, Cointelegraph has just published this article from Jarek of Maladex. Crypto will become an inflation hedge, just not yet. So if you're curious why crypto is not the anti-inflationary tool that we all believe it will be one day, this is the article for you right over at Cointelegraph. Last week, we also got some additional information about Alexei Pertsev. He's the Tornado Cash developer who got arrested in the Netherlands and is currently being detained. It turns out, according to this Fortune article, Alexei Pertsev, developer of cryptocurrency mixer Tornado Cash, was formerly employed by a company linked to Russian security agency, the FSB. If you don't know what the FSB is the main successor agency to the KGB. It took on all of the domestic responsibilities of the KGB. Of course, there's nothing necessarily illegal about a former employee of a company that did work for the FSB going on to run a different business and being in the Netherlands. So far, there's no illegality involved in any of that, but it does look like this may have been a more than meets the eye situation with the arrest of this developer. Speaking of that important question of what's being built, here's something being built partly for us here in Cardano, and it's coming from kind of an unlikely source. Here's CZ of Binance posting, "The future is here. Visa, MasterCard, and Binance are suddenly making Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Tether, and Cardano payments a reality." That post linked to this article in Forbes, where they tell us MasterCard is set to launch a cryptocurrency payment card supporting 14 cryptocurrencies, and that list of crypto projects, including Cardano. They also say the crypto card will let users pay for everyday purchases using the crypto they have in their Binance accounts. The card converts cryptocurrencies into fiat currency at the point of sale and will first be launched in Argentina ahead of a planned wider rollout that will support some 90 million online and physical stores. So this is kind of interesting. Speaking of inflation, Argentina is definitely one of those places where I think the history of inflation has been so severe that crypto has always been a more potent tool in places like Argentina. Now people will be able to spend the money in their Binance account just like they would from a regular debit card. Apparently the conversion of the assets is going to happen right at the point of sale. I have no idea how much they'll be charging. I'm sure, it'll be something more than the fees you would find in some other place. But this is a pretty big step forward for this use case of crypto as actual money, which has kind of always been the killer use case for crypto. Of course, in Cardano, we spend a lot of time thinking about what the Gen 3 blockchains like Cardano will bring to the space. And a lot of that has to do with smart contracts and different types of smart contract based activities. But the really interesting use case for crypto has always been as money. The whole idea that sparked Satoshi's invention of Bitcoin revolved around the money use case of crypto. He was trying to build a better money. A lot of that got lost in the block size war, the block size civil war that resulted in the non-use of Bitcoin as money. But the really interesting use case has always been this money use case, so that you could have crypto as a means of exchange. And while it's sitting in your wallet before you go to spend it, it's not going to have all of its value inflated away by some central bank. Finally, if you've been wanting to become a Cardano smart contract developer, but you knew there was this big learning curve problem because you had to learn Haskell, next month might be your month. IOG posted this: "Want to learn Haskell or improve your existing knowledge? Then join our new immersive Haskell Bootcamp course launching in September. Watch the space for more details on this free self-paced course." I think a lot of people have probably watched some of the Plutus Pioneers iterations of that course on YouTube and realized pretty quickly that it's not really an intro to Haskell course. It's sort of more a course to learn Plutus if you already have some grounding in Haskell, but it's definitely not what I would call an intro to Haskell course. It looks like this is actually going to be one. Want to learn Haskell? I like that because it's not like, hey, are you already a Haskell developer? Do you just want to get better at Haskell? It's like, hey, do you want to learn Haskell? So I'm hoping this will actually be the big intro to Haskell course that's never really existed in Cardano. And I also love that it's self-paced, because I think the vast majority of people who'd be interested in learning how to develop Cardano smart contracts probably actually have jobs. They're not like full-time students who can devote themselves to learning how to code in Haskell. Most people have probably actually got jobs, and I think they need this self-paced part. And the fact that it's free, even better. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're starting out a great week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.